the ISA-1 Digital, the classic Focusrite Mic Pre, and simultaneous DI. Now with class-leading stereo ADC as standard.
I'm on the Waves booth with Todd, who's going to show me the Waves bass rider, which looks very similar to the vocal rider, but I noticed from the top of the screen has a couple of additional features. And the idea of this is to control levels without using conventional compression, I understand.
Absolutely.
So take us through it, please.
Yep, building on the legacy of the vocal rider, which was developed simply to write volume information for my vocal track, we realized that you could use that on other tracks, but really bass is a completely different beast when it comes to the mix. The dynamic content of bass is completely different. The energy of the different energies of notes is such that we needed to create an algorithm that tackled the variances in volume levels on bass. Typically, as you mentioned, you would use compression to tackle the dynamic range of a bass. But the downside in some cases is that you end up with the possibility of maybe smearing some of that note information, the inner dynamics between the notes, the envelope characteristics of bass frequencies. So we designed an algorithm to really listen to that and give you a solution to simply write volume information. You can still go back down the chain and use some compression more for the flavor aspects of compression and more subtly, maybe with a few dBs as opposed to the heavier compression ratios, which tend to make a marked effect on the bass sound. So it's quite a simple interface because I only need to give it a few values to let it run its course. A target volume here simply allows me to give it a basic starting point for, am I turning you up or am I turning you down? And then we're going to work within that reference with the rest of the plugin. Sensitivity, how often this thing is tracking to every single note, or maybe not as many notes going across the bass. It's really a matter of how intricate or how articulated that bass line is. Do you need this to track more specifically as you go through the bass line? Response time of the actual movement of that fader. If it's a more subtle bass line, more synth or pad-like, you may not need a fast response on the filter. It'd be more abrupt in that sense. But for a more intricate line, you would want a faster response to respond quickly to transients. In the ignore section up here, we take into account that spill could be on an open microphone for a bass. There might be other instruments coming in, whether it's on the stage, whether it's in the studio. If you've got a live band tracking, you might have some other information coming into that microphone. That information is not what we want triggering our fader. So if I turn that knob up, it says ignore more of that spill information. Don't write automation for that kick drum that's happening to be bleeding into my microphone. Artifacts typically is the good stuff behind the bass. Whether I'm on a slap bass and I get a little bit more noise hitting the pickups, hitting the neck, if I'm on an upright, I would have the fingerboard noise. That kind of information is good. I don't want that necessarily to be turned down. I want that coming through the mix. I can govern how much of it is, but if I turn that up, it says ignore it. And again, don't write fader information or volume information based upon those transients. Listen for the note that's coming up, and then let's worry about that. After that, it's a matter of just giving it some range. I can do it up and down, 12 dB, so 24 dB of dynamic range. I can squash it, essentially. Again, it's just simply volume, so I'm squashing but not doing the compression squashing there. And then give it an output level. And at that point, I'm going to end up with an automation lane that's going to obviously fix my bass volume problems in the mix. Instead of going through and manually doing that, which was costing engineers a lot of time, it's a mix tool. It's simply there to help the engineer get through his mix more comfortably and happily.
And of course, because you're writing automation, you can go in there and change it if you don't agree with its findings.
Correct. And we don't expect this to get it done 100%. It's there to get it maybe 85%. You're going to do some more creative level changes as your mix demands, but it's there to really get a great starting point for a long mix session.
Well, thanks, Todd. This is available, you say, individually or as part of a Mercury bundle as well?
Correct, individually, and it is $100 US at an introductory price for native versions and $149 for TDM.
Sounds worth having, thank you.
Thank you.